Okay, this is part 2 of the gameplay for the draft that I started a couple days ago. Probably part 2 of 7, based on how long these games tend to take. But this is our blue-black control-y deck. Currently 1-1. So let's hop back in and see if we can't put a couple more W's on the board. See if we can get through maybe 2 more games before we pause again. Alright, oh right, I'm in silver. I forgot about that. Well, seems like a decent hand. Mill them on 1, then I can put out a blocker on 2. If I get my second black mana, we have some really dangerous stuff coming. Yeah, all in all, seems pretty good. Pretty high chance of us casting Reaper on turn 4, or the Harvest Sphere. Mono red, well, interesting. Hopefully they aren't too aggressive for us to deal with a Secret Reaper. So they have a So Tiny. So Tiny will probably do a lot of work against this person, this deck, because I doubt their mono red deck is going to have a lot of things that are massive in size. No, okay. That doesn't really do much. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, play another island. If we top deck an island, we have the option of playing Lock Dragon. If we don't, we can just cast Harvest Fear. Make them discard some cards. Though they have a lot of cards in hand still, so the choice will be relatively easy for them. But I do not want to be, not doing anything next turn. Okay, we have a golden egg. I think the golden egg is not good enough compared to the Reaper. We want to use our mana as efficiently as possible. If we do this and then draw a swamp, we can play Sir Conrad. If we don't draw a swamp, if we don't draw an island. Sorry, if we do draw an island, we can play Lock Dragon. If we don't draw either, then we have Golden Egg available. And I think that having done this will be probably a good decision. Doing that now. Well, considering they're such an aggressive deck, the fact that they haven't done nearly anything to put pressure on us probably bodes well for us winning this game. Yeah, that's pretty good, though. I don't have the mana to deal with that now, so I'm going to take a lot of damage here. But I can also So Tiny that next turn. So I'm not too worried. Taking 6 is not ideal, but we have something to deal with it. Yeah, so we'll just cast. We're definitely not going to be casting Sir Conrad if we cast this. Draw another card. Okay, so next turn we can play Lock Dragon, which is cool, and then this turn we can play So Tiny. It's pretty nice. Jousting Dummy. Okay. Sure. We do want to put creatures on the board, because now that they're starting to go wide, it's starting to look bad for us. Since I'm planning on lock dragoning next turn, I might just sow tiny here. There's a really good chance that we don't have mana to cast. Well, we always have Golden Egg available to us, I suppose. I could also cast Sir Conrad next turn, which would be pretty good. I think I'm going to sow tiny now. Then I can just block there. Take 0 damage. I don't want to take damage against this deck now that they're starting to put creatures on the board. It's not great for me. I got a Folio Fancy. It's pretty good. Folio Fancy is definitely too slow. In this scenario, I want to put another creature into play. So we're going to cash in our Golden Egg to pay for Sir Conrad, so now they can't just attack into a 0/4. They attack into a 5/4 that I can use to block, which is enough to eat their creatures. Okay, that doesn't do much. That helps your Jousting Dummy, and that's about it. Makes it a -2/1. Sure. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary. Do I have anything? Nope, just the Golden Egg. In that case, I'll hold off for now. For now, I'm just gonna play the Lock Dragon. Excuse me. Oh, it's a Rummage effect. Yeah, I'll discard the Mystic Sanctuary. I don't think it's quite that important. Right, I forgot that it's a Rummage and not a Loot. Okay. I think we'll start going to combat here. Swing with the Locked Dragon. Pretty happily throw away that island. Take another one, sure. Not a big deal. Do 3 in the air. Then we'll cast... Now we'll cast Folio Fancy. We'll start. Yeah, we'll start with some Folio Fancy. Shenanigans make them mill 3 next turn, I suppose. Or 2 if they do something. Oh. I see. So we'll go ahead and make them 3. Or, you know, an aggro deck is not really the sort of deck you expect to have a ton of. Ooh, there was a Sakara and an Ember Shieldbreaker. Wow. You hate to see it. So milling for 3 seems reasonable against this deck, because again, not gonna probably have a lot of times when they're flooding out. Well, can't attack with the Lock Dragon anymore, but that's not too bad. We got to sift through some stuff. I don't feel too badly. Alright. Getting close to Reaper. We'll play the Tomb Raider here. Lives up enough mana to Folio Fancy for 3 again on their after their draw. Or for 2 if they cast a 1-mana spell or something. And next turn we can drop an island and play Reaper of Night, so that really puts them in a bit of a bind, because now then that causes them to, you know, they gotta choose. Do they want to keep cards in hand so I can mill them, or do they want to ditch cards so that I don't mill them as hard, but Reaper of Night can get over, you know? So looking pretty good. Doesn't look like we have a lot of creatures that really can handle our situation. Yeah. So, oh, I forgot to hold control and mill them on there. Draw step. Whoops. Oh well. Oh, good. Good to get rid of that Searing Barrage. Ooh, Castle Vantress. Now that's a land. Alright. We're going to cast the Reaper of Night. We won't bother milling them this next turn. Quite a ways ahead. So it's not imperative, and this is really probably a faster threat almost than even milling them. Possibly. Depending on how many cards they choose to keep in their hand. Sure thing. Yeah. Alright, well I'm going to play the Swamp so that I can use Sir Conrad a couple times if I would like. That just, whoops, no. That will just kind of speed up the mill a little bit. Sure. Hey, I wanted to hold full control, come on. Alright, well I guess I won't be milling them for 4. This game has a very, oh. Well, I guess I will mill them for 4. Wow, that's they must be looking for something because that was quite, can I not, like, alright. Thank you. I think I just win, unless they have plans to, you know, somehow win the game this turn. Because I can just mill them for, you know, I can mill them for a couple with Sir Conrad, and then on my turn I'm going to folio to get them off. Revenge of Ravens. Thankfully I didn't need the Revenge of Ravens this game, but it would have been very helpful in this matchup to have gotten that. Especially when I was a little bit worried about the fact that they were starting to go wide while I still had the 0-4, but all in all, seems like we are okay. Perfect. They're at 2. Alright. We'll mill them their library, pass the turn, and they will lose the game. Well, they are a bronze player, so we're kind of in the silver ranks. You know, we're silver, so it's not exactly surprising to see a deck that, well, although they had a lot of, I mean, like, despite the fact that I think that they had way too many, like, Crystal Slippers, I mean, like, the deck doesn't seem terrible. Very creature-light, admittedly, now that I'm looking at the whole thing right now. Kind of like my aggro decks, so. Yeah, there's the trick, kids. Creature-light aggro decks really, really do, tend to not work out. Well, that game only lasted 13 minutes, so who knows, maybe I can get 3 games. Woohoo. Alright. Let's take another run at it. See if we can't get to 3 wins. Okay, this is pretty interesting. Obviously the Mystic Sanctuary as of right now doesn't come in does come in tapped, which kind of slows us down because it's not as clean as, you know, Overwhelmed Apprentice, Queen of Ice if necessary, and then Tome Raider. But the cards in our hand are quite good, and I'm going to keep this hand, hoping that I draw either, you know, maybe some other land so I don't have to drop the Mystic Sanctuary, or I'll just play a little bit slow if needed. If we are getting overwhelmed and the tapped land would be painful otherwise, we do have Revenge of Ravens against like an aggro deck to then kind of follow up our dirtily turn 3 with hopefully a turn 4 that plays something, but we'll see. I think we're on the, no, I think we're on the play. Or maybe we're on the draw. I actually wasn't reading. I never read that. really need to start doing that because it it does affect whether I keep or mulligan hands sometimes, or at least my assumption is that it should play a role. All right, and we get the scry, so we definitely have a good chance to have some better lands. Um, I like the runaway together. I think I'm going to keep both of these cards on top, maybe in a reverse order, just in case there's some reason I need to rip this off on turn 2. Seems unlikely, but we're going to make our land drop for turn 2, and then we have the swamp for turn 3. At which point we can play Tome Raider, which gives us a really good chance of hitting a non-tap land for turn 4, Revenge of Ravens. But again, worst case scenario, they would have to be pressuring us a lot for us not casting Revenge of Ravens on curve to be the reason we lose this game. Especially with, okay, yeah. Well, clearly we don't want to run away together that and give them the chance to kill our Sir Conrad or something later on, so. Ooh. Okay, well, they're in some aggressive colors, so really hoping that we can get the Revenge of Ravens out early, and that they don't have artifact or enchantment removal. Which white does have, but I don't think a ton of people are clued in when they're playing white decks to like how decent it is to actually mainboard like True Love's Kiss. That might just be my opinion, and to be fair, I don't win a ton of games with white decks. They're not my specialty. But when I play like white-black, which is a white deck I like quite a lot, mainboarding the True Love's Kiss has actually come in clutch quite a bit. Alright. We got there. So far this is a pretty slow deck for Alright, now we're talking. Now we got some real contenders. Slap this down. Should not be pretty good. We'll just chip in for 1. Even the red cap now only deals 1 damage. If they enchant it or equip it or something, if they enchant it, we can run away together. If they equip it, we can Queen of Ice to really, punish them with a tempo boost. But for now, I'm pretty happy to just Raging Red Cap. They might Boulder Rush or something here, but and that'll be a lot of damage. But I'm pretty high life total. Nope, doesn't seem like they did. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't want to get hit by that. I don't have good blocks for it or anything, and, even if it Revenge of Ravens, it reduces the damage to 3, I still don't want to be taking 3 necessarily. So I think I'm going to adventure the Skullknocker Ogre with Rage of Winter. And then I have the option to run away together again if something happens, like they kid up the Raging Red Cap, or just opt. I'm not going to play the Mystic Sanctuary. I think we have a really good shot at activating it this game, and I don't just want to slap it down for no reason. We don't have like Sir Conrad in our hand, so we're not like really aggressively trying to get to our 5th land drop yet. So okay. Yes, sir. No blocks. So a situation here where maybe they use like Boulder Rush now to do a lot of damage, I'd be kind of happy to run away together. I can recur it with Mystic Sanctuary pretty likely. It causes like the the Dwarf, the Rimrock Knight, to fizzle, if that's the case. And then, of course, the tempo loss. And then I also get to mill for 2 and scry 2 to really kind of set up my next turn. So, like, this would be an example where the Runaway Together, you usually want to be doing it with, like, Merfolk Secret Keepers, but, like, this would be a situation where, depending on what they do here, it looks like they don't do anything, so don't need to use it now. But yeah, I was more than happy if they use, like, a combat trick, because I think the most common combat trick is the Rimrock Knight, because it's just very efficient to have the combat trick and then a body follow it up. And had they done that, I would have been more than happy to run away together to fizzle that. It essentially counters that spell, and then they lose that tempo. Interesting. I guess they were cognizant of my run away together mana, because, well, or maybe they just, because they just hard cast it. They didn't even bother sending it on an adventure. Or the Rimrock Knight. They must really be cognizant of run away together. Kudos to them. That, or they just really want to push going wide. Well, Reaper of Night's a bit slow now. My opponent only has 1 card in hand, so it's not really an ideal draw at this point. Okay. Alright, well, good news. Yeah, we got the island, so now we can, Mystic Sanctuary if we need to. We might we might end up running away together like this coming turn. Because they have a huge board coming in, and I mean, swinging with the 4-3 and the 3-1 does favorably, like, it does favor them, even with the Revenge Ravens in play. It's not too scary, but it is something to consider. With Queen of Ice, they can only really favorably attack with, like, these two, so I'm not, like, extremely worried about the board, although they can tap the Queen of Ice with Giant Killer. So we'll see. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. They got a lot of mana for a Boros deck, so... Oh. Okay, well, I can trap in the tower the Queen of Ice, and then I can get its adventure and the body back. Sure. Yeah. It doesn't bother me too much. Right, okay, so they're going to go down to 11, and we'll go up to 22. We have no blockers. So we'll be bouncing the Skullknocker Ogre because putting an adventure card back in their hand does give them some value. Also, it's going to deal the most damage. So we'll let them do first strike damage. Then we'll pass to regular damage. So I will put the Skullknocker Ogre and my Queen of Ice back in my hand to get rid of Trapped in the Tower, and yeah, really reduce their damage there. So I'm going to cast Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to put the Runaway Together on top. I would love to put it on top. Then I will cast, certainly going to Queen of Ice. Rage of Winter, I suppose, to tap down the Rimrock Knight. I think I will go ahead and Golden Egg here. So it puts the Runaway Together in my hand. Excuse me. So if something comes up, I can bounce Tome Raider or Overwhelm the Apprentice, and then one of their other creatures. Because the only other thing to do would be, well, actually, considering the Rimrock Knight is tapped down, I actually kind of like playing Queen of Ice because the cards they have on board do not compare favorably to that. So I'm going to attack with Tome Raider in the air. Doing the 1 damage in the air, especially when I've kind of tapped down most of their damage next turn, is good, because the Revenge of Ravens does actually make them have to think about attacking, and whether they can anymore. Because if they just attack with, they can only attack with, essentially, like, if it's split across 3 turns, they can only attack with, like, 3 more creatures. Okay, sure. they want a full swing in, I'm happy to like use the Overwhelmed Apprentice to trade with the Silverflame Squire, because then I'll just run away together the Tome Raider at some point. But yeah, like they can't just keep attacking me. There are real costs to them attacking me. Especially when the power is relatively low. Like attacking with the creatures that'll do 2 damage if left unblocked basically means that I take 1 damage for each of them, and they also take 1 damage for each of them. So you have to wonder if that's really what you want to be doing. Alright, Murloc Seerkeeper. That's pretty big. None of their creatures get past it, so they either have to spend their mana tapping it down, or they just don't attack. Like I said, there's honestly a strong chance that they just won't attack. Also, I can run away together the Merfolk Seekerkeeper. So I can mill 8. I can mill 8 with it. I don't know if we're going to win by milling for sure. It's kind of tough to say. We also have the Golden Egg here that we can use. Yeah, so again, we have Forever Young in hand, so I'm really happy to like trade my Overwhelmed Apprentice with the Rimrock Knight, because I'll be getting it back later. Oh man, that's pretty bad. I mean, thankfully I have the Revenge of Ravens, so the fact that they're just getting new little tokens every turn isn't completely like busted, but dang, Outlaw's Merriment is a very strong card. I'm going to crack the Golden Egg here. I definitely don't need it for mana. I have my 2 black that I need for my other cards if I get them. Wow, a Sage of the Falls, excellent body in this sort of situation. Like, it just, none of their cards get across it, so I'm going to Tome Raider here. Again, if I just keep picking off this damage when it's relatively safe to do so, that's really good for me. I can, I'd love to draw a card. Okay, well I'm going to get rid of the Charm Sleep. I want the other cards in my hand. Reefsel basically just does what Charm Sleep does, but actually kills the creature, because almost all their cards are going to be, weaker than 3 power, other than the Skullknocker Order, which I'm not too concerned about. I have a stone, I have like this, but I can Reefsel to kill the Giant Killer, for example, if it's going to tap down my Sage of the Falls, so I think that the Charm Sleep is actually despite being an extremely good card, considering the situation, it might be the weakest card in my hand. Oh, that's not going to got lifelink. That does make Revenge of Ravens less efficient, because as long as I get that one, they can gain 2 life from damaging. So, kind of tricky. Yeah, so there's one with haste, there's one with trample, and then there's the one that pings when it comes into play, which is also kind of bad because it can just kill our Tome Raider, which has been kind of nicely attacking in the air. Yeah, I think we're going to have to Reefsel the Giant Killer so that it can't continue to tap down our oh no, of course I get rid of the Charm Sleep right after that. What a nasty situation this is. Well, I can't Reefsel Sir Alan. Jeez. That feels bad. Oh well. Not a ton I can do about it. I am going to go ahead and Reefsel the Giant Killer, because now I really want the 2/5 to be able to keep things. What am I trying to say? To like, just stop Sir Alan basically. It's gonna buff everything else, which is pretty bad news, but you gotta kind of deal with that. I'm gonna cast Reefsel on the Giant Killer. I'm at a relatively high life total still, so I think I am going to keep swinging with Tome Raider. I could potentially run away together to destroy the lifelinker, which might be weirdly like one of the best plays I can make. because I really want to get them in a situation where they just can't attack at all, or they will die. You're kidding me. They get the lifelinker again. Alright. Good beats for our opponent here. Okay. Wow. Why? I guess, I mean, they're gonna go down to... They know I have Run Away Together in my hand. What are they playing here? Well, considering Rimrock right now does as much damage as Sage, or as Sir Alan, I think I'm just gonna make the block that kills something. Probably put Overwhelming Presence in front of Sir Alan, kill it. But I'm gonna put this in front of the Human Cleric. I'll finish blocks. I'm gonna bounce the unblocked one and the Merfolk Secret Keeper. This isn't a first strike. Sure, that dies. I will bounce the unblocked Cleric, the Merfolk Secret Keeper, so unless they have something in hand to kill the 1/1, I think they just threw the game, because they didn't heal off of the Cleric. So they need to deal with my Tomb Raider. Because I just do 1 damage next turn. And even then, I mean, they can't even attack with the Cleric, because the attack happens before damage, so they die. I think that would... They must have not been thinking about my Run Away Together, and how I could use that to blank both of the Cleric's damage. Good game. Pretty close there, you know. The Outlaw's Merriment came down, and I thought I was in a lot of trouble. Well, got 3 black cards and no blue or no black mana, but we have Merfolk Secret Keeper, which slows things down. So I'll probably keep this here. I don't really want a mulligan this hand. If we draw into black mana, we're good. If we draw into blue cards, we're good. You know, it doesn't seem like a bad... Excuse me. A bad keep here. Let's go ahead and mill them for 4. Okay, it looks like, well, they're green. Green and white, so probably a more aggressive strategy, so... Hopefully we don't live to regret, or hopefully we don't draw to regret that keep, but the So Tiny makes us pretty happy if we're playing against a more aggressive strategy. Okay, well, maybe they're not that aggressive. Okay, well, I got another blue mana. Let's keep on passing. Rosethorn Acolyte, okay. Now they got more permanent fixing. Oh, Tomb Raider again. So, getting some good draws despite not having black mana. Okay, we got almost all our black cards now. Just need to get Sir Conrad and the Reaper, and we're that's game. Oh, jeez. Well, guess I can't just enjoy chipping in for 1 damage every turn for the rest of the foreseeable future. But I can Charm Sleep that, and that's definitely worth Charm Sleeping because I don't have a lot of ways to deal with blocked or to deal with flying creatures. So the Prize Griffin is quite good. You know, we don't have any flyers that can handle the Prize Griffin attacking us over and over again. The next biggest flyer is, I believe, the Lock Dragon. Yeah, and that thing just gets killed unless we pumped a Fairy Vandal, but that takes drawing that card and then some extra work on top of that. Okay. Enchanted Card is quite good against our board. I mean, it just kills the Merfolk Secret Keeper, so 4/4 is quite good. Alright. Not ideal, but okay, another, This is pretty bad news for us. We can so tiny the Flutterfox. We can't so tiny the Enchanted Carriage because it's a, once the turn ends, it'll go back to being an artifact and not a creature, so a so tiny will fall off it. So I think we're just going to take 4 here and hope for drawing. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, drawing mana, drawing at this. We got 5 islands, drawing a Sage of the Falls, drawing something to let us use the cards in our hand. That's a pretty good so tiny target. Stops it from powering up other friends. Well, okay, that's pretty good. So we'll throw out the Revenge of Ravens, and again, hoping that despite being the 2 colors that kill enchantments the best, hope that they're not mainboarding them. This will definitely slow them down a little bit. Again, it makes the Flutterfox only deal 1 damage. The Enchanted Carriage still does pretty fine, but I mean, it does slow them down a little bit, which is nice. Okay, going wide doesn't... I mean, you can buff all the creatures, I guess. So going wide is still good for them, but it's pretty slow, considering, like, you don't really get paid off with my current board for this. This has to be... Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to do this now before the ability resolves, because my assumption is that it'll read that Sir Farron has 0 power when the ability resolves, so it shouldn't buff the Flutterfox at this point. Why attack with the mice? Okay, so I guess for this turn, Sir Farron is going to have 2 power to confer to the Flutterfox, which isn't a problem. I might... Okay, so I'm going to go up to 20. I do not understand attacking with the mice. They literally only hurt you. I might put the Tome Raider in front of the Flutterfox right now. I can Forever Young. I can Forever Young to get back both my Merfolk Seeker and the Tome Raider in the next few turns, which seems pretty decent. Again, we're not like Mill Mirror, so we don't need to be a little greedier and wait till we can put 5 cards on top. Putting Forever Young with Tome Raider, which then draws us Merfolk Seeker immediately, is not a bad, not a bad strategy. Yeah, okay, that seems fine to me. Then we can Reeve Soul the Flutterfox next turn. Reeve Soul one other thing if we want to, but none of their cards really seem that dangerous. Like I want to Reeve Soul the Occam Ranger if anything, you know. Got some hair on my screen. So pass the turn. Yeah, if they enchant the carriage, like we'll throw the Merfolk Seeker in front because we can just quickly get it back, and then, you know, we use that chump block to then mill them some more. They're at 20. Obviously, I don't think without Folio Fancy, we don't have a good shot at really milling them out. But you know, every bit counts if we're looking to stall this game out. Damn, the Revenge of Raven's coming in so huge in this game. Yeah, totally fine with me. I'll do this. So we got an opt, which is pretty good. We know kind of exactly what we want. Like, no lands. We want things that affect the board. So first, though, I'm going to Reeve Soul the Occam Ranger so that they cannot buff their board to, you know, reduce the effects of Revenge of Ravens. They're just going to have to deal. Then I will Forever Young. Put these 2 cards on top. Put them in the following order. So Tome Raider on top, yeah, Merfolk on bottom, yep. So I draw that, play that, boom. Draw the Merfolk Seeker Keeper. Got the board back. So we're not doing too bad. Again, like they can't really attack with most of their boards, so their big thing is the Enchanted Carriage can hit us and, you know, do 3 to us every turn. Which isn't nothing, but it's slow enough that, you know. Interesting, I don't know. Maybe they forgot? I'm not sure why they would do that, but. Okay, million for 4 more. Bring it down to 15. Oh, Fairy Guide Mother, nice. Get rid of that. And since it's relatively safe, I'm going to do kind of the same thing I was doing before, because I want to, you know, I want to make attacking dangerous for them. You know, I want to get to the point where they can't just do an alpha attack and take a bunch of damage to finish me off, because doing that would kill them. Like, I really want to kind of just ping them where I can to really make sure that they have to be careful about their attacks. Okay, another Scry 2. Definitely don't mind at this point. I don't know if we're going to win by mill, but the 2 mil certainly doesn't hurt us. Especially, okay, so we have Reaper of Night. Which is great. We have Mystic Sanctuary, which is also great. I think I'll take the Reaper of Night on top, but I'll happily have the Mystic Sanctuary come after it. So we'll end the turn there. Because again, Reaper of Night, it blocks the Enchanted Carriage, and then suddenly they can't attack at all, and then maybe we are back on the mill plan where we just kind of like wait them out, try and draw into Folio. You know, do all these things. Yeah, because like that's not going to stop that's really not that good, you know. Ooh, that's pretty good though. I mean, again, thankfully for the Revenge of Ravens, they aren't just going to be able to now freely attack with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have to decide, you know, how much damage they're willing to take here, because they could attack with these 2/2s, you know, so then I would take 3, 4, 5, I go down to 14. But they would also go down to 9, you know, so they're having to, you know, they're a more aggressive strategy that probably doesn't hurt them that bad to go down to 9, but it is something that they have to kind of think about. Probably going to consume the egg for food while I have the open mana. Again, I'm not going to use it for fixing. I got my 2 black mana that I need for all game. So, sacrifice gold, yep. Go up to 17. You know, I'll get one more attack with the Tome Raider to bring them down to 8. And, like, this stuff matters. Like, it'll change the, so I'll make them, I think I will be a little greedy. I don't need to stress, so I'm going to make them, yeah, outflank. Outflank would have been really good. You know, they have such a board. Like, that would just be a kill spell for anything that's attacking or blocking. Which I do not want. So, just bring them down, keep kind of pinging them down. We won't be able to do that after they cast Ardent Veil this turn, but that's fine. We've kind of, you know, done as much as we can. Again, like, but the board is as it is right now. They're going to need more than 8 attacks to win the game, unless they go for a very slow approach where they attack like many times with one creature, which allows me to chump block really efficiently and then just kind of like wait the game out because they're at 11. You know, they're at 11, and if we recur the Forever Young, you know, we can then just chump with these, and now that's even more mill, which pressures them even more. So, all in all, like, it's looking good. We have Reaper of Night coming in, which, you know, we attack with Reaper of Night, and they have to block with Ardent Veil because they just can't go down that low. So I think we're in a really good board state. You know, we're at really high life total. They've gone super wide, but Revenge of Ravens has completely gutted that as a possibility for them. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely not bad. It's got reach now, so now Reaper of Night is just going to be a completely defensive card. But like I said, we're happy to just use the mill plan of, you know, chumping with these two, and then using Mystic Sanctuary to get back our Forever Young, and then suddenly, you know, that really doesn't bother me all that much. So, I think I'll go ahead and I'll make the chump now, because once I put Reaper of Night to play, there's a chance that they don't attack, because their trades or their attacks will be not ideal for them, because I can usually eat something of theirs. I'm going to hold on to the Opt because I don't get any value out of the Scry. So, okay, so, use all our mana, cast Reaper of the Night, Reaper of Night, drop the Mystic Sanctuary, put the Forever Young on top. I'd love to do that. So we basically are now representing 6 points of mill, so we've got them down to 4 cards in library, essentially. So we might be winning on the mill plan. They don't have good attacks now, especially now with Reaper of Night. I mean, like, the Silver Flame can attack if it wants to, but I can also chump with the Tome Raider. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a bad situation for them. They weren't really getting out of that one. So, good game, good game. Revenge of Ravens has come in so clutch this run. Just, I think in Best of One, because people slant a little bit more aggro because they know Best of One favors it too. Like, it has been a really good card defensively. Alright, so we're at 4 wins. This feels good. We're finally breaking our streak of just really bad runs. It's really exciting. So, I'm going to take a quick break to go coffee and stuff, and then I will be back, and we will continue on with our run. I think because we haven't taken that long, 50 minutes to get 3 more games under our belts. You know, we're making good time. So, all right, we will be back.